Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is the Commando Cast, a video cast about all things Star Wars Destiny. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando. Another week and another set of spoilers. ARH5 Seeking Answers Week 2 spoilers coming at you. Hey there, Star Wars Destiny folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando and the Commando Cast for Week 2 spoiler recap of ARH. That's right, it's coming at us even harder, even faster this week. And I got to be honest, I'm actually having a hard time keeping up and especially tracking everything down. So today we're going to be covering everything up to the time of me shooting this, which is Thursday afternoon, late afternoon. And plus one, which is Commando, who I missed last week. I'm sure there will be one that I've missed this week. And I'm sure there'll be some that'll drop like the minute after I record this. So again, we'll get them all. It's just a matter of when. So yeah, a lot to go through. So let's go ahead and go through this, starting with my man Commando. Right. So I loved the show Justified. It was a fantastic show, and this is embodying that. I don't know if somebody had a shout out there. I mean, his character kind of does as well. But hey, you have fast hands on this guy, right? So it's one die, but it does have to be showing range damage. So he has two ranged, focus, shield, resource, and a blank on a 10-13 with 11 health yellow hero. He's character guard with Guardian. After you activate him, you resolve one of its character or upgrade dice showing range damage. That is really good. I think that it's only ranged, because could you imagine having a vibro sword on him and just like going out and taking 3 cards on a discard? That would suck. It'd be really good, depending on which side of the table you're sitting on. The art on this looks fantastic. He's probably regretting that he has so many wrinkles, but he's on Tatooine, and that's how they roll. But no, man, this looks really cool. He's at that 13-point slot. It's always an interesting one. Works well with your 17s, but also works well in a 3-wide. If that works for you, I don't know. But he keeps him out of the 18 range. So yeah, we'll see what people end up doing with him. We'll see what people do with him. I mean, he can pair with Chewie, right? I'm pretty sure Chewie 17. I think so. So maybe that's the play. Maybe that's the play, ladies and gentlemen. All right, moving on to Rook. He's a Nogri assassin. So this was from Star Wars Rebels. This guy was supposed to be in that set that was not unnamed, but they're not similar cards very much. So he's 9/12 for 10 health. He's character guard with Guardian. He has a melee, a 2 melee for 1, a disrupt, a resource, and a blank. Guardian, after you turn or remove an opponent's die, you may resolve one of this character's character dice, showing damage, increasing its value by 1. So who likes this is Dooku, right? Dooku likes this a lot to also give him another color pair, right? So yeah, it's not like that Dooku Terran deck was having any issues doing the flippy flip, and now he's got access to more colors, and I think Dooku is your target then, but this guy's pretty good. So yeah, we'll see if you can get those redeploys over to this guy once Dooku goes down and just kind of roll out a bunch of sticks. That seems not too shabby. All right, we have Lorth Nita. I did not know his name was Lorth. I just knew he was Nita, and he died. So he's a 9/12 villain with 10 health, 2 range, 2 focus, discard money blank, character leader. So interesting. Leader obviously used to be the one where like, oh man, they're a leader. That's really good. But like by and large, I don't know that leader is like the standout best subtype anymore, right? So that's kind of interesting. But after you activate this character, resolve each of its character dice. If able, otherwise remove them. It's pretty good. PA, search your deck search your deck or discard pile for a capital ship. Reveal and add it to your hand. If you searched your deck, shuffle it. So yeah, this guy, I mean, let's put him in context with some other stuff coming up. So we have presence, which is spot a capital ship to remove a die. This is bad ordering, Andrew. You should have just gone right to the ISD, right? So this is the Imperial class Star Destroyer, aka the ISD. Support capital ship. This card's cost cannot be decreased. We saw that on Blizzard. This support can be activated. Note it has no die, right? So it has to say that. After you activate this support, roll 3 set aside TIE Fighter, and that is the ATG TIE Fighter, right? That is important. Dice into your pool. You may, I guess the Awakenings one was First Order TIE Fighter, so fair enough. So it is the TIE Fighter, but that's from across the galaxies into your pool. You may gain 1 resource, right? So that's important because it's no pay sides on there, right? So, I mean, not that a 3-for-1 rolling a bunch of those doesn't suck either, especially because you're gaining 1 resource when you're activating this. So Nute is really interesting to that effect because he has the 2 money sides. You know, probably you don't end up playing ISD with him, I would guess, but maybe there's a play there where you just run him as a 9 from you just wanted the PA, and then like you run Krennic and then somebody yellow to make a boatload of money and you just get it out, right? I mean, that's probably the easiest, most simple way, but I'm not a very strong, support player in terms of like the theory crafting on that. So, but his die thing's really interesting, right? Because you don't want to roll him out first generally because if you hit the focus, but you also want to roll him out to get his money. So be interesting to see how people use him here. My guess is he will see a lot of play at single die, especially because you're going to do support decks. It's kind of how support decks rolls. They go wide for more health, right? So that's my guess on Nita. The ISD, interesting. We'll have to see what people do there. I mean, I don't know that it's all that hard to make 6 resources anymore. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, to be fair though, like only 3 dice. I mean, they're, don't get me wrong, like 3 dice is 3 dice, but like it's not as bad as it could be, right? Like if you compare, I mean, granted 6 to 8, but like you compare that to Blizzard and like I think Blizzard's scarier. So, but this seems more achievable. Not that Blizzard wasn't, to be fair, but all right. And this one fits in right with him as well. It's apology accepted. This one is blue, obviously, because it actually says defeat one of your unique red leader characters to ready a Sith character. Fair enough. Do note Nute as 9 fits right in with transformations. Big Daddy Papa Vader. I mean, that's the simplest, straightforward one right there. But there are options. There are options actually. The Vader one works. Remember, he only has the 2 damage sides and the PA to resolve. So a lot of times, I think it's a little harder. But if he's loaded up and he's got stuff, right? So that'll be cool. I mean, somebody's going to do some sort of reset there, because remember, you can roll out Nita. In that case, it'd be 1 die. Roll him out. Hopefully, get some money or do something. I guess he's got focus. You roll out Vader, roll out Nita. I guess, yeah. Well, we'll see. But with my thought there was the money that Nita brings can help get big stuff on Papa Vader. But we will see. This one I don't want to spend. Actually, screw it. We're gonna spend time on Rey All the Jedi. So I spoiled this one early in the week on Monday. She is a big good for Blue Hero. Aggro Blue Hero for sure. 2 melee, 3 melee, 2 focus, 2 shield, 2 resources, no blanks, 21-29 with 18 health. You're rolling in both of the extra die because I think you're generally going to play her elite. Then power action, resolve one of this character's character dice to heal damage from this character equal to the value showing on that die. Really cool, right? So coming in with 4 dice, I can throw up some of the graphics from before. But I mean, yeah, she's really scary in a good way. I mean, she's really exciting. So I think you're going to see a ton of her. I mean, yeah, it's you roll her out with what is it? Roll in the mud. Like roll in the mud is your sad panda face, right? But then again, remember, if they do that, you have 1 die left. Which granted, but my point is it's not on a blank, so you can at least get the PA out of it. But if it's turn 1, you're just SOL. But then again, you just keep coming and healing. So fair enough. She's going to be really, really, really exciting. We don't need to really talk pairings with her because she's her own pairing. So very nice. All right, Mother Talzin. This is spoiled by Lanza. love that guy, on a bribe you to sign up for the tournament thing. So his mother talisman, Witch of Dathomir, 14-17 with 12 health, 2 gun, 3 melee, focus, 2 shield, resource, and a blank. The reason I was emphasizing the 2s is because after you activate this character, heal 1 damage from this character for each of its character dice showing a value that is an odd number. So they're keeping the odd theme going. I like it. Power action, resolve 1 of your character dice showing a value that is an odd number, re-rolling it instead of removing it. So, money seems good. 3 resources seems good. So very, very, very exciting there to see what people will end up doing with her. It's kind of interesting with the whole witch thing going on, that like it, at least for the moment, like her build doesn't require your deck to be built in a certain way. There are still a lot of witch cards that do, but she's just looking for it on her dice, which is interesting. So I do think you're probably going to see a lot of, I don't think the witch theme thing is going to be super prevalent. I think you're mostly going to see Talzin paired with some other color. Someone in the Dice Commando Discord today or yesterday was talking about doing it with Krennic, because you can flip then to the 1, which you can use. You'll flip to the money, which then you can then resolve. And if you get Director on there, you get, right? So that's pretty cool. That's pretty good in concept. And I expect to see a lot of stuff like that. I suspect that she's actually going to end up being better in a control type deck, right? I know she's got the 2 and the 3, and you kind of lends itself to aggro in your head. But I suspect that... I suspect she's probably going to end up being used more in control-y type decks. But the thing is with her, remember, you probably want to be running her elite. So I do think that's relevant to that part of the discussion, right? Because you want more dice, right? I mean, it makes sense. All right, this card, I'll read it and we'll move on. So 1, this is Magical Ichor. Spot a witch. You play an event from an opponent's discard pile, decreasing its cost by 1 and spotting that opponent's cards as if it were yours. This is an ability that historically has been reserved for a character because it's a build around. I think this is a very dangerous card, but I'm sure that they have tested it. All right, now this one was kind of a super secret, double secret spoiler. It was posted up on the DB, and they made no announcement about it. So this is Finn, Risk Taker. He's 9/12 for 10. He's 1 gun, 2 gun, 1 reroll, 2 reroll, a resource, and a blank. Character Trooper, which makes sense. And actually, at this point, I think he was a general somehow, because there was only 9 people left in the Resistance, and everybody was a general, because why not? So after you resolve a die showing reroll, deal 1 damage to a character. That's interesting. If you're playing him he can pair with Flippy Ray, I guess, right? A-side Ray. He can pair with her, and there's potentially other stuff out there. You could maybe luck chain into a bunch of reroll if you're doing that, but he's I don't know. I think he's cool design. I don't know how much play he'll see. He just that 1-2 range seems not great. 9/12 is pretty good though, right? But the reroll and then the damage. So yeah, and it's not his die showing reroll. It's any die showing reroll deal 1 damage to character. So you could potentially, reroll chain, and reroll, right? Because you do them in order. So you could get a couple damage off of it and then mess up your opponent's plans, and then they re-roll into a bunch of damage. But, we'll see. We will see how he fits in as he goes forward. All right, now we have Sabine Wren, Mandalorian Warrior. She's pretty sweet, right? So just hold on to your pants, kids, right? So 14-18 for 14 health. That's okay. Character Spectre, no pilot keyword, which is interesting, which is good. Power action resolve up to 2 of your dice showing a disrupt as if they were showing indirect damage, which is relevant because she is 2 gun, 3 gun, 2 disrupt, a money, a special, and a blank. And that special deals 1 damage to each of an opponent's characters, but then you re-roll the die instead of removing it. That special is really good. All right, so she is really good. She's really good just alone. And then you have Sabine's Westars, plural, because this is a 2-drop unique weapon, 1, 2 ranged, 2 indirect, 2 disrupt, which can be resolved as ranged with Sabine, right? Resource blank, redeploy. After you play this upgrade on Sabine Wren, you may spend 1 resource to make this upgrade elite. So a 3-drop for 2 die of really good die, right? It's their Westar dice, except you get a big disrupt that potentially can be resolved with, we'll go back to Sabine, and it's resolved up to 2 of your dice as if they were showing, I said range, sorry, indirect damage. Still damn good, right? So she's a 2/3, 2 indirect, kinda, with the option. You then have the Westar, which is a 1/1, 2/2, 2 indirect, 2 indirect, 2 indirect, 2 indirect, or disrupt with the option with redeploy. Sweet. I mean, this is, it's really cool. I do think the Sabine's Westar might be pretty strong, right? The ability this is not the first time we've seen a put on this character and pay extra to make it elite. Definitely not the first time we see it. It's the first time we've seen it be redeploy, though, right? The value of that is pretty strong. And, going back to Sabine, I was talking about it's good she's not a pilot, right? Could you imagine having, because originally I was like, oh, she should be a pilot. And then I was like, oh, Wedge, right? Like her with Wedge. And then like you're going after her first. And then all of a sudden Wedge as a pilot can roll in. His pilot did die. Plus he's got 3 upgrades on him, one of which is Sabine's elite gun, right? So all of a sudden it's like, what, Wedge's 2, so it's 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, just rolling in a casual 7 dice. No big deal, right? Like that's pretty good, right? So, yeah. But anyway, you can't. I mean, you can still play them together, but you don't get the piloting thing with her. But you can still do that with Wedge. So, but I think it'd be way too strong if you could run flanked and all the cool kid stuff that pilots have access to, plus the healing and yeah. All right, so moving on. 1, this is the way. Play only if all characters on your team share a color or a subtype. Remove an opponent's die. Fair enough, right? So it's kind of it's Mandalorian, Spectre, whatever Mandalorian's not really is Mandalorian a keyword? I don't remember. Subtype? Sorry, I don't remember if Mandalorian is a subtype or not. I don't remember. I'm sorry. If it is, it's a new one. But very manageable. Good card. Functional card. All right. Now we have Cal. So this was shout out to Trey over at Kingwood. This was one of his. These next 3 were his spoilers. So Callus Fulcrum. He's 11-13, right? So that's that weird space where they clearly probably had someone who they didn't want to pair with. So he's a character leader spy with 2 gun, 2 melee, discard, resource, and a blank. All right. After you reveal 1 or more cards in an opponent's hand, so when you do an action that reveals cards, deal 1 indirect to an opponent. Now, do note he does not have detect, right? Power action, reveal your hand to reveal an opponent's hand. You may play an event in that opponent's hand if able. That opponent may play an event from your hand if able. So at least you do that and you get an indirect. But then there's stuff that happens. So that's clearly a have to set them up where you don't have anything to play or you have something that's garbage. Do note that it doesn't say spotting their characters if it was yours or anything like that, right? You have to be able to play that event or they have to be able to play that event. Yeah. So, there's some chess type stuff there. I know Chromesto hates it when I say that, but, there's some mind games you can play there to make sure that it's set up correctly. So Krallis is really good. Obviously, the one that jumps out is probably Racco. Do note that Racco detecting 2 is still only 1 indirect, but when you're playing him with a spy, you get the detect and throwing indirect. And, you could also, isn't the Bothans, right? You could play him with the Bothans for, I guess, 2 indirect, 2 times 1 indirect when they come in individually. I don't know that that's good, but maybe. But maybe. And then you can play him single die with Jin, right? All right. Behind enemy lines, kind of in that theme, behind enemy lines event intel, spot a spy to reveal an opponent's hand. So there we go, dealing it indirect. Then you may discard a card from your hand to play an event in that opponent's hand. Again, not spotting or anything like that, but you can at least get the card out of their hand, even if you can't spot, right? Because you can play and then it checks for spotting. So that's not too bad. And then we have Special Operative, a 1-drop upgrade title. This is neutral, 1 gun, 1 melee, 1 focus, 1 discard, 1 resource, and a blank. PA, remove this die to remove an opponent's die showing the same symbol and value. This should remind you somewhat of promotion in its own kind of little way, just with the die sides, but they're not modified, so and no card draw. But this is kind of interesting. Be hard to line that, but you have a lot of variety, so kind of cool, right? Just get it out there, let it sit on damage. It'll focus if you need. You'll take the discard. You'll take the money. Seems pretty good, right? Seems pretty good. The question is, does it outpace? Because it's red. The question is, does it outpace the new gray blaster that redeploys, the new baby blaster, right? Those are both things that are 1-cost guns that are pretty good. So does this take that slot? Do you run it again? Do you run it alongside of them? But you got West Star, and you've got the new Ambon, or the new Mando blaster, the ID 9 or whatever it is. I'll throw it up, but you got a lot of options. So I don't know how much this one fits in. I think I'd probably rather just run 1-drop guns. But all right, so that is it, because we're at the end on Garza. Keep calling her Garza, but so yeah, that's it as I have them today. Lots of interesting stuff. Sabine looks really good. Cobb is interesting and fascinating. So we had the big wins this week, I think. Well, for me, right? You may, and that's good, right? If you're taking different stuff from it, that's good. The big ones for me this week were Rey. Rey looks super awesome. Sabine looks really, really cool and fun to play. I think there's going to be some really interesting deck building stuff that comes from someone like Callus, and we'll see what those dirty support players like to do with the ISD, because I think that's relevant. So anyway, week 2 spoiler recap as I have them now. So let me know, what are you guys thinking? What are you guys excited about? What combos are you seeing? What did I not talk about? Let me know in the comments below. Let's get the conversation started. And if nothing else, folks, thanks for joining, and go Commando.